but anywhere within that storm, we could get a quick spin-up tornado or a damaging wind threat in parts of it. So we also had some reports that came down from the Weather Service here while I was talking. The trees down in Mount Carmel, or just south of Patton, freaking remote. And it looks like a lot of debris, tree limbs and so forth on the roadway there. Again, that's on Illinois Route 1 between Allendale and Mount Carmel. Peak
area hit not too long ago with very large hail doing damage. We haven't seen a whole lot of hail reports out of this. If you look, you can see some of that purple, typically indicative of where we would have the hail. But this really is a wind maker that's moving in, and that's moving to the east, as we pointed out, at about 55 miles an hour. Let's go over to Ryan Hoke. He has some of the communities in the path of this storm. Ryan, Jasper's up next.
Yes, if we can get Max 2 behind me here, I'll just start reading off some of the counties here. That's going to be French Lick at 10:50 p.m. There we go. Orangeville 10:55, and then you'll see the Paoli about 11 o'clock this evening. So you've got about half an hour in the Paoli area before this little notch here that's triggering the tornado warning begins to move on in. Again, this is embedded within the line of storms here. So this is going to be like a wall of thunder, lightning, and very heavy warning. But especially at night, this is an extremely dangerous situation for folks who are trying to get to sleep and may not know what's going on here. So again, this tornado warning here does include the very western tip of
that wind's picking up.
You'll notice that French Lick is in the warning. Paoli is not yet. Let's hope that this warning does not continue downstream into central Orange County. But at this time, we do have to act.
What happened?
You'll notice that the speed of this storm is about 55 miles per hour. This is going highway speeds.
That's
so you
text
need
alert.
to know that this thing is packing a punch. And even if you don't see a tornado out of this, you're going to see some very strong damaging winds, the possibility for small to medium-sized hail. And yes, that very heavy rainfall potential is there as well. I don't want to forget about our friends and neighbors here in the Louisville metro area. I know we're hearing thunder right now. I want to put the radar over the Louisville area for just one moment here so you can see we've got this scattering of downpours with lightning in them at this time. And these are not severe just yet, but we have to watch because any of these storms that form in front of the line will have lots and lots of energy to work with here to grow upscale into any sort of severe weather, potentially guaranteeing that some folks will get some warnings if they grow upscale into that, but we will keep an eye on these. So Louisville, we haven't forgotten about you. The main tornado warning is just to our north and west. It's about an hour and a half drive up 150 there toward where this warning is near French Lick, just west of Paoli here. That's why we've been in an alert day all day long. We had the tornado earlier. Now we're getting back into our second round of storms that we said would happen after 10 p.m. Time is currently 10:35. Boom, they're on the radar, and you need to be prepared, folks.
Yeah, and Ryan, we'll continue to track this storm. Again, the one that's happening here in Louisville, not severe, but those storms are growing. The main threat's going to be along this line where we have the embedded features of the rotation. And we pick those out by looking at the reflectivity based on sort of this backwards C. You can see that that would be like a notch in the radar echo. So that would be one area of concern. And then we've got another one down here just north of Jasper. A couple others as you work your way on the sort of lower flank of that polygon getting close to the Huntingburg area. This is all going to cross over 231 as it moves through Du Bois County, including Jasper, moving past Reeve now, but approaching Lost River and eventually French Lick. That's why we have the tornado, two separate ones for Orange County and Du Bois County going until 11 o'clock tonight. So if you're watching and you were trying to get in your favorite TV shows, we've had to interrupt here because it has been an active day. We've already had massive damage coming out of parts of Jefferson County, Indiana, Trimble County, Kentucky. That was over toward Hanover and Milton. And now we continue to see thunderstorms erupt across the area. But the main concern with that line, and it's along that line in this favorable sheared environment where we have had enough instability today to now develop these storms that are rotating and consequently able to produce very strong wind and the possibility of tornadoes because of the wind field and the rotation. I'm going to zoom back in. We still have minutes left on this tornado warning, the 2 until 11 o'clock tonight. I'll start on a wide zoom and then we'll go back in a little tighter. You can see from Bedford, Indiana, where we have thunderstorms going. Severe thunderstorm.
At 10 o'clock, I'm taking the stream off. Actually, I'm going to get off live at 10 o'clock.
Subtle indicator that severe thunderstorm warning comes with a tag
because the rest of the newscast I can catch it any time and I can upload it in a regular video. I just can't do it when it's not in the newscast.
Simply because as folks start going to bed, it's tough to wake up in the middle of the night, and sometimes it's too late. So you have to have a way to get the warnings. That's the first step. And that means either a NOAA weather radio, a wave weather app, something that's going to make some noise to wake you up. And then you turn your television on, and here we are when we have emergency weather in the viewing area. And that's what we're dealing with both across DuBois County and Orange County.
This is what they're tracking, what has crossed in. This is getting close to Louisville now.
And that's going to happen. It's just going to take a little bit of time, though. So I suspect that we're going to continue some of these warnings farther to the east as the night wears on. We're just now increasing the low-level jet, so our shear is getting greater. The one part of the ingredients that we'll be losing is as the atmosphere cools, we will be losing some of that instability. That said, we still have plenty to go. And when we look at that velocity, I'll go back to it and point out that the velocity on this, it's still tough to point out where we have the greatest rotation. It's notches within and embedded in that line. So this is where we have the greatest concentration of that. And you can see that right along 231, both areas just north of the Jasper area, pushing off to the east. So that's one area of concern. It's the greatest area of concern. However, it's important to mention as we look at the whole scope of this that anywhere along this line has the potential to put down some pretty strong winds, upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour, and a period of very heavy rain and a tremendous amount of lightning on this. So if we put the lightning only on, you can see those lightning bolts that are coming in, not just with the core of those storms. You can see on that it's 132 count within just the last few minutes, but also even with the thunderstorms that are developing out ahead of that line.
Give me a minute. I'm going to switch to another station. See what they're saying. Where is... Nope. I want to click this station. So give me a second. You guys are going to see my Roku for just a second. Go to... Where is the station I'm looking for? Yes. Watch now. What the frick?
Over to the regular radar here, just because I think it's worth noting that there are quite a few storms ahead of this line. Now, if we look at the data shows that what's going on ahead of this line, at some point they're going to merge together. Right. And when they do, there may be kind of a jump in a sense where that line catches up and then advances. And it could, at that point, become outflow dominated and weaken. Remember, thunderstorms need warm air to survive. So the fact that we've got quite a few storms here that go from
flipping over here for just a minute, and then I'll get back to wave 3.
Madison, we hope that that would weaken some of that energy.
Check and see if any of the other stations was on.
The environment is quite supportive of rotating thunderstorms with damaging winds, hail, and potentially tornadoes. And you can see there's a storm right ahead of that line that does show a little bit of a tail on it north of English that we need to watch. You know, far and away, as I see it right now, the best rotation is west of French Lick. We still have rotation continuing in DuBois County right now. I'm going to take you in there. It's right near Jasper. So if there were to be a spin up, it's going to be very close to Jasper. That said, you know, maybe north of Huntingburg, Rick, it does look like. Yeah, I mean there definitely is, but look right here, just north of Huntingburg. We're starting to get a little bit of more of a where those greens are touching.
Right.
There may be a rotation increasing right now. So if you're in the Maltersville area, so this is basically about 2 miles east of 231 between Huntingburg and Jasper. Be aware. We're going to continue to watch this area. The rotation has come up over the last scan, but as noted, we're going to see those increasing and decreasing. And then we go towards French Lick. And this is where we have to the west of French Lick, no question about it, the best rotation, I think, right now. So this is heading towards Lost River and ultimately towards the French Lick area. So we're watching. Rick, versus what we saw this afternoon, I don't feel like right now we're at that level. I don't know that we will get to that level. This afternoon was an individual supercell that was rotating hard, dropping monster hail. And this is a line. Traditionally within this line, this kind of a scenario, Rick, we're more concerned about quick spin-ups. And that's not to minimize the scenario. It's just to identify the differences.
Yeah, very different. We had a tail end Charlie earlier today, and that was basically all alone by itself. This is a very different scenario. This is turning out to be more of a QLCS,
Okay,
a
I'm not listening to
quasi-linear.
him. I'm not listening to him. That ain't happening. What'd I just get on my phone? Oh, it's just a lightning detection.
Situated here where it's a nice view for us. And then I'll just put on the drawing tool and I'll point out this is how minute it gets when we're looking at a linear structure coming down. Severe thunderstorm warning in place, the tornado warning sort of being recalibrated. But you can see along this line, we're looking for some of these notches. There's one near Lost River. There's one there. And these indicate where we could have some strong winds. You get down into Du Bois, right along the Jasper area. That would be a focal point. Now, I'm going to leave the markings that I wrote on, and let's go to the velocity. We'll see if any of that matches up. And indeed, we see the notch there, not far from Lost River, and the same story over toward Jasper. So those areas are of most concern. That's where we've been watching over the course of the last 10 minutes or so since we broke into programming to let you know about the tornado warnings that exist across our viewing area. They're seeing the same ones flash. These are not new warnings, but ones that are being recalibrated, meaning the back edge of those are starting to get chunked away as the storms pass through, letting people know, all right, you can come out of your tornado safe place. That's not just yet the case for Jasper, and it's certainly not the case for French Lick. These storms are just now moving into your area. Back to the
Lightning detection again.
I'll
Dang.
put the reflectivity on with the radar. And then let me put a couple of scopes on just so we can see if there's anything within these storms. First of all, I want to go to some reports. Let me just first see if we have any reports. Many of these, including some of these wind reports, are so helpful from our MPing data. We don't have any locally, so that's very quick. So let me just pan this over to see if we have any over the course of the last little bit. We had seen a few earlier, and I'm not seeing any anywhere from Petersburg to Jasper. So we'll give that a little bit of time. I wouldn't be surprised if we started to see some of those reports come in. Back to the radar view we go. Let's go over to Ryan Hoke. Ryan, I see you're looking at some reports as well. See a couple up around the Bloomington area.
Yeah, we do have one report up there in the Bloomington area. That's basically kind of the baseline, like trash cans and twigs being moved around as the area of storms moved on through there. Of course, that segment of storms is now down to Jackson County, Indiana. Want to show you where the storm tracker is right now because we have deployed the wave storm tracker. It is currently in Harrison County. It is moving westbound to intercept this line of storms. You'll see the temperature there is 62 degrees. We're getting minute-by-minute updates as it travels along west on I-64 here. So we will, of course, bring those images to you as they become available here as we get a little closer to the storms there, Kevin. But so far in Louisville, these storms are not severe here. We're tracking the warnings just north and west.
Another lightning detection. What the crap?
All right, I know we have a quad box. That's sort of a direction for the TMPs in the back. I'd like to be able to show the storm tracker, maybe a tower cam or something. Let's keep up some of the video while we're working on the radar as well. This will give folks at home a better picture of what's actually happening. The storm tracker itself not showing much outside of seeing a little bit of thunder and lightning, or hearing the thunder and seeing the lightning. When we look at the tornado warning itself, it continues until 11 o'clock. Now squarely past and moving through Jasper with very heavy rain, approaching eventually the Patoka Lake area. That's the latest warning that we have. New warnings? None yet. We still have severe thunderstorm warnings, and they're being issued well in advance, and we can see those moving through. So we continue with the tornado warning for Dubois County. Ryan?
And Dubois County reports no reports through dispatch at this time of any sort of storm damage. So let's hope that continues.
Yeah, and that's good news. So we're constantly in contact with the emergency management, the sheriff's department, always sure that we have the latest information. And of course, when the 911 centers get flooded, when we have emergencies going on, obviously we know that there is a problem. The big board continues to show the tornado warning for Orange County until 11 o'clock.
Yes, it does. And we've got the severe thunderstorm warning as well there.
All right, new severe thunderstorm warning coming in. Let's just jump right to that. I'll be able to show you what's happening with that. This one is for parts of Clark, Floyd, Harrison, and Washington counties. So these are some of the storms that are billowing up ahead of that main line. Remember, we said that as these storms become surface-based, we could wind up seeing some strong storms. This one could contain some large hail, up to 1 inch in size. This includes Borden, Greenville, and New Pekin. That warning will go until 11:15. It's a severe thunderstorm warning, so it is not a tornado warning, but nonetheless, when you look at the scope of this, and let me zoom out just a bit. I'll go to our home view and we'll zoom back in. That is out ahead now of the main line. So it wouldn't be surprising to see some of these storms that are moving across parts of Trimble and Carroll counties continue to grow in intensity. Same story in Oldham County, even Jefferson County.
Wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't happen here, where I'm at.
That we've been tracking. Main threats, again, certainly the wind and certainly the hail threat. That's what we have to watch. So we've got the severe thunderstorm warning, and I've just lost power flickering out here. So let's jump back into this. And we've popped on here, so we'll move this back around. We've got new warnings coming out yet again. We'll go to these warnings one at a time as they start to make their way through. This one is for the storm we just mentioned. So we were watching the intensity.
Oh my God, areas that got hit earlier.
Mountain, Owen, Switzerland counties, a hard hit area from earlier today. Lots of heavy rain, the potential for hail.
This is copycat.
Moving through a very hard hit.
This is copycat
Hanover,
storms.
as well as Milton, Kentucky area. The core of that is just off to your south. That's one more storm that we have to watch. So again, we're pointing out that we've now got several rounds of storms developing fast. We've broken the cap. Storms are taking off and able to grow in intensity. See that we have some rotation along that line.
Where is this severe thunderstorm
Just
warning?
keep popping one at a time.
Oh my gosh.
County. Now, here's Bedford, Kentucky, the Ohio River with Milton at the top of your screen. This one has some large hail as well, the potential of 1 inch hail with that. Likewise, radar indicated moving at east at about 45 to 55 miles an hour. In the path of that storm, you could experience 60-mile-per-hour winds, and that large hail would be right around 421 and 625. So that's going to be the core of the hail and the very heavy rain. Some melting is taking place because we have such a very warm atmosphere. Our current temperature is 74 degrees. We hit a record tying 82 degrees for today. I want to go to the home view just to get everybody's sort of bearings. We have the 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of Carroll County, Trimble County, the latest one added, Clark County, over into Washington, northern Harrison County, and then, of course, the tornado warnings that we've mentioned. That includes Du Bois County and the western part of Orange County. I'm going to go back to the tornado warnings, and then Ryan will walk us through the latest severe thunderstorm warnings. This is the tornado warned storm now approaching French Lick along 150. Tornado safe place. We still see some what we would call inconsistencies along the base or the forward range of that radar echo. And that's where we could have, if it's going to happen. Remember, this is not confirmed. This is radar indicated. Tough to pick out especially when it's in the linear fashion like this, because there's no one place you would see it. It could be, if we were looking, it would be just south of French Lick, and if we were looking, it would be near Birdseye. So those would be the two zones I'd be most concerned with as this system pushes to the east with the tornado warnings that will be in place until 11 o'clock tonight. So we're about 9 minutes away. The radar will continue to show that while those are the two severe thunderstorm warnings, I mean, the two tornado warnings, we do have a number of other severe thunderstorm warnings.
Severe
They have the
thunderstorm
potential to
warnings. Yep,
also
totally.
produce strong winds and.
Oh
So
God,
let's
what
get
is
over to
that
Ryan
one?
Who's tracking a few of those.
Watch some of these here, Kevin. I want to get to the first one, and this one's going to be right along 150, northern Harrison County, Palmyra, Martinsburg, Pierce, Oregon Springs, areas just south of Salem and Washington County, Indiana. This goes until 11:15. We're talking about 1-inch hail potential. The hail in this storm, where is it right now? It is located right over the US 150 corridor there, just south of Oregon Springs. New tornado warning, Kevin. This includes Paoli. Orange County is involved with that there.
All right, so let's jump back to the maps here. I want to be able to punch up the new tornado warning that's coming out because this is being extended, as we pointed out, that sort of notch. We said French Lick, you should be in your tornado safe place. It's moving through now. We also have Youngs Creek and Paoli now within this polygon, which includes the tornado warning. It's parts of Du Bois and Orange, including French Lick and Paoli. 1-inch hail. This is right at this point. So no observed, no eyes on the sky where we say we've got it, it's down, we're seeing problems. We'll be making calls, and we've got people talking to us in our ears saying, hey, we're on the phone with Orange County. Yeah, all right, let's see if we have any issues coming in from both Du Bois and Orange County as this storm's now making its way through French Lick and approaching Paoli, a very populated area of southern Indiana. That's what's happening now with the tornado warnings. I'm going to go back to the home view, and we'll zoom back in because should this hold together, we're going to come right into Washington County and then be very close to the Louisville area. So we still have to watch this. We're not letting our guard down simply because we're getting later in the night. Not yet. These storms have not this point to that level. We still have a tremendous amount of energy in the atmosphere, and we certainly are now increasing the wind field, and that gives way to even more rotation in some respects. Lots of lightning surrounding these storms. One thing we'll be watching is when that lightning count starts to come down. So on our home view, watch it with
Here in a
us.
few
We're
minutes, here in about 8 minutes, I'm going to cut the
lightning
live
strikes.
off.
It's 10:53. We'll check back in another 20 minutes or so just to see what the lightning is doing. It's an oftentimes an indicator of when we are actually starting to see these storms begin to weaken. Severe thunderstorm warnings in places, but the most concerning, in addition, would be the tornado warnings that we have. And the latest one has been issued for Orange County. This one will go for another 21 minutes. So that one moves right into Paoli. You've probably got another 5 to 7 minutes to get in your tornado safe place. So if you know folks in Paoli, along 150.
Well, we're just lightning. Yeah, I'm going to have to get off my live soon because it is lightning and I don't want to be live streaming like this.
Wake them up, let them know, turn the television on if they have it. Ryan?
Real quick here, Trimble County between Bedford and Milton. Please be on standby. We do have some rotation on radar with that storm cell that's moving right along the US 421.
Yep, there goes the
corridor.
lightning
It's moving
detection.
toward Carrollton, not very strong, but it is something that you need to keep an eye on. So if there's a tornado warning issued, go into your tornado safe place immediately. This is the Bedford area just south of Milton and heading in toward Carroll County, the Carrollton area. This kind of duopoly here of warnings here because of that one particular storm cell. It does have some rotation, does have some hail with it, but it's not enough to be considered a tornado warning or even a tornado possible tag. Just giving you the earliest alert on that storm here so that we don't forget about our friends and neighbors in Kentucky too, Kevin.
All right, emergency management out of Du Bois County reporting 51-mile-per-hour winds. So that was just at one location. Odds are if you're in the core of the storm, it was even higher. So Du Bois County, we know you've had not far from Du Bois, in Du Bois County, 51-mile-per-hour wind. That was reported just before 11 o'clock. That's been what we've been tracking over into the Patoka Lake area. And now, of course, the tornado warning continues across all of Orange County, including Paoli. We've got the storm tracker out over near Carefree, Indiana. That's approaching now. You can see starting to get under the severe thunderstorm warning. This will include to our South English, Indiana, working your way over closer to Harrison County, Indiana. So let's see if we on board with David Ochoa. David, just talk with us while we keep the radar up. We see your picture, but just give us an idea. The lightning from our SkyTrack vantage here in the studios looks pretty impressive. What's it look like as you get closer?
For a while on I-64, the sky has absolutely been lit up with all the lightning, and we did get a bit of hail and a lot of rain. Right now we're in a little bit of a lull. We haven't seen much in the last 10 minutes or so, but just getting out here, there was a lot of lightning, a lot of rain, and a lot of hail. But right now we've not seen much, but of course we'll toss it back to you to tell us what is coming up.
All right, David, thanks. We may check back in, David, and we want to hear from you, but we also want to see what it looks like from the front of that vehicle. So swap your camera around. Let us see that. We've got our SkyTrack cameras on as well. Watching the lightning, and in some cases, being able to see is what it's all about, especially this late at night. This is the hard part of what we have to do with nighttime storms. It makes it very tough. John Bowles in the studio, too. He's been making some calls. At this point, he says we have no damage to report, which is great news. That just means that these radar indicated tornadoes may not be on the ground. That's fantastic. We hope that's the case all night long. That said, it can change in an instant, and when the radar starts to indicate that rotation, it doesn't take much to have them touch down. We certainly saw that, and we noted the damage with that. So I'm going to zoom back into our tornado warning. We've got two. The one that comes across Orange County includes French Lick. It also includes Paoli. This one will go until 11 o'clock. That's the one back to the west. The other one is extended for another 15 minutes through about 11:15, Du Bois County until 11 o'clock. So 3 more minutes on those warnings. We continue to not only look at the warnings that we have in terms of tornadoes, but also the severe thunderstorm warnings. And as it stands tonight, we don't always have to have a tornado to have some major damage. The winds themselves with systems like these, because of the wind field, can cause major problems. And if you see Ryan just in that box to my left-hand side, he's looking inside those storms, tracking the velocity and the intensity of those storms, where we also in the severe thunderstorms have some powerful winds and the potential for hail. So Ryan, again, walk us through that storm you were looking at very close to Palmyra.
Yeah, at this point, we're going to continue to watch that storm right along 150 there. This storm does not exhibit anything wind-wise that is super concerning. However, hail-wise, this has had a history of putting down on radar, at least, some fairly decent signatures there. And you see right there, just north and west of Palmyra. So if you drive north and west on 150 from Palmyra, you're going to run into some hail. Here in Louisville, I do want to touch on Louisville because I know we've got like 1.2 million people here. We want to make sure you're taken care of. You'll notice kind of 4 of these storm cells. None of them are severe. We have had some dime-sized hail in Barbermead that was just reported. Thank you to Kathy. And then in Georgetown, some pea-sized hail as well. Fairly small hail sizes there. But one storm that has our concern at a fairly elevated level here is what's moving through Carroll and Trimble counties, and this is a hard-hit area from earlier today. A lot of folks are without power there, so we are concerned about that. Of course, this storm is now moving into the meat, if you will, of Carroll County. It is packing some hail as well. I'll pop the hail on there so you can see where that is. And man, look at this. This is just north and east of Bedford. This is like where the hail cores are. When we say storm core scanner, we're looking for the core of the storm where the ice is, where the hail is. And you'll notice that's right along US 42, just east of the 421 interchange there in Bedford. So this is really going to be hitting hard in Carrollton. Carroll County, and especially Carrollton, be on guard for some large hail here. We're talking about possibly a quarter-size hail. Can't even rule out some larger stones in a couple of instances with a storm of this magnitude here. Again, here in Louisville, the hail is small. If the hail gets bigger than quarter size, that's when we start to get into a damage situation. We haven't had any reports like that as of yet within our counties from this round of storms here, Kevin.
Yeah, and that's the good news. So we haven't had a whole lot. We've got pea-sized hail coming in right now from New Albany.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the
So
live.
that's the only hail